Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of Lasso Tool Concepting, featuring 3 color concepts. I'm your host, Kienan Lafferty, and yes, of course, I loved you guys too much I couldn't leave you hanging with just part 1. We had to go into part 2, so let's go ahead and jump back into it. This is a continuation. If you haven't seen the first part, then go back and check it out. Now we're learning about Lasso Tool and how it can save your life, and most importantly, get your creative mind going when you're creating a new character concept. And this is, of course, featuring Mocha from the Made of Metal series. Creating a new armor set for her, and we're going to go ahead and jump back into continuing with that. So, the next thing that I want to bring your attention to is we're going to take a little bit of a break. Or we've taken a break, and now we've looked at a couple of the older concepts that we've done. And some of these early phases, I liked some of these shapes that we created with the lasso tool, specifically up in the headpiece. And I want to try to integrate a little bit of that more into the character, as well as try to stay away from, I've noticed that there's areas of, okay, I should totally be highlighting this while I'm talking about it. By the way, sorry, there's like a big vacuum truck outside too. I don't know what the heck they're doing. But if that is in the background, then I do apologize. I do have a little bit of noise canceling, so we'll actually see how well that works out at the end of this. But yeah, the shapes that I was seeing here, are things like this. I really like this shape on the headpiece. And this shape right here for the pauldron, this is such for lack of a better word, this is such a safe piece, a safe shape. That's what I was trying to say. A safe shape that that we need to work with. So, but yeah, I want to try to break out of that. And what I'm seeing here are pieces like this. Like, see how this geometric shape kind of like goes up and like overlaps? I want to bring a little bit more of this into play. Bring a little bit more of this into play on our armor piece, our armor set, and give Mocha a cool looking armor set that is all her own. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let's get into that by creating a new layer. We're going to go ahead and get our ink brush out, both for the pen, or both for the paintbrush as well as the eraser. Now let's go ahead and begin by simplifying, right? We're going to simplify some of these shapes. And start mimicking some of these shapes that I like in the other parts of the armor set. And that's things like this. That is going to be things like this. And like that. So now we automatically have something that's a little bit more interesting to look at. And then coming down here, I imagine, actually maybe this should repeat 3 times. So it should go out like this. Yeah, that's a much more interesting pauldron. Much, much more interesting pauldron. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Way cool. Alright, now let's go ahead and continue. I did draw another piece in here that I really liked. Maybe this can continue over to the belt. Maybe these shapes can continue over to the belt. And another thing that I really wanted to add in was the rest of Mocha's leg. So let's go ahead and lasso this one, just because I want to be more comfortable with using the lasso. Yeah, that looks cool. I know the general flow that I want her legs to follow. Whoops. I know the general flow that I want it to follow, so I can very comfortably and quite confidently place that in. Cool. And then I wanted her to have a sword of some sort. So let's go ahead and lay that in as well. So I imagine the hand would go there. Notice how I just kind of throw that in with a shape. I'm not too worried about the exact look of it. But then let's go ahead and throw in a sword shape in there. Cool. Now she's holding the sword. And then here, let's go ahead and kick this off to the side because I want that arm to be really sticking out, allowing her hips to show through there. Cool. And then for this, I imagine, I don't know, maybe there's like a shape that kind of goes down like this. Just kind of designing on the fly what I would want this shoulder plate to look like. But again, not getting too caught up in our details because that was the problem that we had before. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make some significant changes to the face, or to the head, rather. And because of that, I want to make sure that I create a new layer, so that way in case I muck it up, we can go back and fix everything. Okay, we can go back and fix stuff. So So let's go ahead and introduce a little bit more of what I liked in this piece here. So we had the head shape, but I like a little bit, whatever is happening right here, I left that artifact there. I think that was like from the armor piece, or from the old helmet. I'm just gonna leave that there for the heck of it. Let's see if we can bring a little bit more of this shape that we liked into here. Cute, very, very cute. There's something going on back here too that I like. It's filling in that space. I don't know what it will be just yet, but let's just leave it there and see if we can work with it. Cool. And then this whole side of the body, notice how a lot of things on this side of the body, because we're taking into account our light source that's coming from the left, once you start getting over to this side, the right side of the body, a lot of it just gets lost in shadow. This is something that I want you guys to also work with. Understand that you don't need to lay out every single detail that is in the shadows. In fact, I would argue that keeping things simple in the shadow area, using that to your advantage, can oftentimes allow you to finish things up or allow the viewer, basically allow the viewer to do a lot of that work for you. Only draw in detail on one side of the armor, if you'd like. And now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start going in there, I'm going to start adding in some additional lighter values, very, very light values. In fact, we could push these to white. Let's say these will be things that are picking up the edge of the light source that's shining, right? We've got our light source over here on the top left. Let me redraw that in. So let's go ahead and start adding in some highlights. This will allow us to pull out some additional depth in the piece. We can add in little things like shines, shine on the hair. There we go. And I would highly recommend that in this phase, you be very, very delicate. Be very, very choosy with where you want to put your highlights in this phase, because a little bit goes a long way, especially since you're working with high contrast here. So don't go too crazy with it. Put it in a few select areas and just watch what it does. See, I'll go like here, and here, and here. There we go. I like the way that's feeling. And you can see how now we're starting to inform a little bit of the texture that's going on. Starting to involve a little bit more of the texture of the metal that's interacting in here. Oh, this could totally be like some metal made piece. Oh, this is like way cool, like a metal headdress. I just realized that's what this could be, and that's what we're going to roll with. We are going to roll with that till the break it down. Let's do it. Okay, cool. I like it. And then back here, I'm going to try just erasing this, because I want to see what that does. I like the thickness that was added in there. Maybe make it a light value. Yeah, sure, that feels good. Feels quite good. And again, don't get too hung up on the face. The less detail in the face, the better, arguably. I would say. I want to try cutting into this and allowing a little bit more of that neck to show through. I'm going to cut into this and allow more of our character's neck to show through here. And maybe the ear. So that would leave us with something that looks a little bit more like that. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Let's go ahead and flip it, take a look. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and merge it all. Merge it all. So we've gone from there to there. Getting closer, have a much more interesting armor set. But I'm still not completely satisfied. I want to continue with this. I'm going to shrink everything down. Shrink everything down because I really feel like her stance will inform a lot about the character as well. So I'm just continuing with this. I'm happy that everything is flowing. We have a natural flow line. That's just more so out of luck. Don't feel bad if your anatomy and flow lines aren't like naturally in there. This comes from years of experience and wanting to make sure that characters have like a natural feeling of weight to them. That's just something that is naturally coming through. However, it's something good to keep in mind as you're drawing these. But the most important thing that can come out of this is an idea. I'm just really like trying hard to make this look as good as possible. That way the tutorial has some sort of legitimacy and you guys think I'm cool. But know that a lot of things, like I go through even here. That's another reason why I wanted to start from nothing, because I wanted you guys to see these ones. I wanted you to see these ones and just how rudimentary and how simple and how like how we just didn't end up using them. And then we picked our third one, but that's because we forced ourselves to. Okay? And I want you to see how you can actually massage something into its proper and final resting place. So let's go ahead and draw in the rest of these legs, because I think the legs will, as I said, inform a lot about the character. Okay, so I'm just drawing in these shapes to represent what's happening here. I imagine a shape like this could look cool. This is another good place to go a little bit crazy with it. Maybe she has like a cool cape that kind of sticks out like this. Maybe some other ornaments that stick off in this fashion. Not sure if we like that, but we're just going to roll with it. Yeah. But as I was saying, yeah, the most important thing that can come from this is an idea. Because one idea leads to the next one, leads to the next one, leads to the next one. Concept artists are not paid for getting the right thing or the perfect concept the first time. Very, very rarely does that ever happen. But it can. It can. And I found that most often you get to better concepts, or you have a higher chance of getting to the proper concept when you are aligned with your team, when your team is aligned in a vision, and you actually communicate about exactly what it is you're looking for, what it is you're not looking for. But that's all easier said than done. And most of the time, it's just not. Most of the time, people don't know what they want, which is why you come in very handy as a concept artist. Because you got to show them what they want. They got to show them what they don't want. Cool. All right. Awesome. Awesome. I want to get these knee pads back in there. Really like the way that this looked. Let's get that low contrast stuff going. Get those boots in there. Cool. Oh, whoops. Shrink these down just a tad bit. Let's go ahead and sculpt this into place. That shoe looks a little bit large. I like having some chunkiness to the boots. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Not liking the way that this is looking in general. There's something that I lost here. I lost something from back here. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's bring this back to where it was. Another thing that you can do. Bring it back to where it used to be. Let's try that again. So there was something that I was doing earlier that I really liked. There we go. I think it was just because it had better flow to it. Yeah, that was what it was. That other one was not working at all for me. Cool. That feels much better. I'm going to keep this a little bit more simple. I'm going to keep this one a little bit more simple. Cool. Let's reflect a little bit more of this shape language that we agreed upon. It's like these alternating kind of geometric, almost looks like hexagons. So let's go ahead and bring a little bit more of that in here. Let's have that overlapping fashion happening in this area. That will again allow us to pull the piece back into feeling good, feeling fine. Yeah, that looks good. Should have a little bit of trouble balancing in this stance, but regardless, it looks okay. Not going to worry too much about the feet here. Yeah. Maybe she should be holding the sword with her other hand. No, because that one's here. Actually, I want to draw in a little bit of space here. I think that was another thing that was bothering me. I wanted some space here for the hips. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's feeling good. There's one more thing that I wanted in here. I feel like there needs to be a shape right here, although I don't know why it should be there. But let's just throw it in. There's something about that in the other concept that I liked. Felt we lost it. Maybe that could be a crown. It could be another piece of this headdress that sticks off. And that's the thing. That's the thing, guys, is that understand that you should always be thinking about, I feel like this space needs to be filled first. And then your second thought is, well, what is it? What could fill that space? What could create that silhouette? In this case, it could be another piece of the crown. We could add in like some additional embellishments like this and say, hey, it's part of the crown. There you go. Easy. It could be another piece of hair. It could be something else altogether. It could be an insect that's like latched onto her head and feeding off of her brain. I don't know. Point is that you can make it anything. You can make it anything. You should first focus on shapes, focus on making an interesting silhouette. Then secondly, you can then begin kind of nitpicking it and figuring out what would make sense in this case. All right. So I can feel that we are drawing to a close. We are drawing to a point which I am very happy with. Very, very happy with how this came out. Feeling confident about this. And I think that this should serve as a good exercise for all of you to be doing over this next week or so. Until I see you again. Until I see you again. I'm leaving you with this assignment. And I hope that this shows you how... Oh, last thing. Last thing. Make sure you hit Shift-Control-Alt-E to stamp everything. And that will give you a flat version of your drawing here. Something that's really fun to do is you can do what I like to call baking it. Place it in the oven and bake it with the brightness contrast filter. Now, I like to use Legacy, right? It's kind of a common thing, or it's an uncommon thing to click this. But when you do, I find that it works a little bit better. It tends to like interact a little bit better with your drawing. And you can see now that you have a possibility emerging. You have one possibility emerging of an armor set that you created by using just 3 values, 3 colors, lasso tooling, getting your mind going, and hopefully arriving at a similar place. All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to go ahead and end today's show. We're going to end today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about using the lasso tool, wrangling yourselves some new concepts, some new ideas, things to get your creative juices flowing. And of course, as always, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you go onto Patreon and download not only this PSD, but all the other PSDs from the past. There's over 100 of them on there. And thank you to everyone who has been supporting. Yeah, get on there and dissect these layers one by one. Get in there. All these layers will be there for you. All these layers will be there waiting for you. Dissect it all the way back to the very beginning. Look at how simple we started with. And with that, I will tell you guys to get to work. Get back to work. And I want to see some cool stuff on the Lovely Lanes. Speaking of Lovely Lanes, go ahead and end today's show and head on over there. Take a look at your awesome artwork. You guys take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. And until then, you guys stay awesome. See ya. Whoops. Oh no. Start that over again. There we go. There we go. Scroll it. Mmm. Man, these chips are good. And so is this art. Man, this is always such a treat. It is kind of nice taking a little bit of time off and then coming back and seeing all this. You guys are getting great. I love seeing like the multitude of styles in here too. It's really fun. By the way, I am eating, what is this? Mozzarella marinara ruffles. My girlfriend got these for us and for me. For me, these are going to be gone by the time she gets back from work. And they're amazing. Yeah, it's really nice to look at this stuff. Enjoying some chips. Is that Jana flipping me off? That's so awesome. It's so unexpected. Sexy ladies. Oh, that Marco from Metal Slug is so sick. Great work, everyone. Great work.